Sabbath. Happy Sabbath.
Happy Sabbath.
Hope you all are fine and safe. The kindergarten lesson is
Young man gets up.
and the memory verse is God has come to help his people. Luke 7:16.
God has come to help his people. God has come to help his people. Luke 7 verse 16.
Lesson 5. Young man get up. Jesus walked from town to town telling the people about God and healed the sick people. His disciples followed him everywhere. Many people followed him to hear what he says and to see what he does. One day Jesus came to a town called Nain. In those days, town had walls and gates to let people in and out. Jesus has entered the town gate.
He saw people carrying a dead body wrapped for burial out the city. A young man died and burial was set outside the city. The young man's mother and a large crowd followed. Jesus heard the young man's mother crying, and even the crowd cried. The mother was a widow, and her only son died too. She was all alone and felt very sad.
Jesus wanted to help her, so he quietly walked over and gently said to her, "Do not cry." Then he touched the coffin. All people stopped to watch. What will Jesus do next? When Jesus spoke, "Young man, I say to you, get up." Everyone were surprised to hear Jesus say that as the young man was dead. But Jesus is God's Son, and He can make dead people come back to life. When Jesus touched his hand, the young man sat up and began talking. Jesus gave him to his mother, and she was so happy. She stopped crying and started rejoicing because her son was alive again.
All the people were amazed to see the miracle. When the people stopped being surprised, Jesus started praising God. They thanked God for sending Jesus to help them. They shouted, "God has come to help his people," and happily they returned to the city because of Jesus' love. God is so wonderful. He cares about making sad people happy. He asks us to help sad people. When we see someone who is sick, scared, or lonely, we must say kind words and listen to them to comfort them. When we do so, we are doing it for Jesus. So remember the message of the story. We serve God when we help people who are sad. And the memory verse.
God has come to help his people. Luke 7:16.
little children, all the children of the world, brown and yellow, black and white, all are precious in His sight. Jesus loves the little children of the world. Jesus loves the little children, all the children of the world. Brown and yellow, black and white, all are precious in His sight. Jesus loves the little children of the world. The primary lesson is together again. And the memory verse is let us do good to all people, especially those who are belong the family of believer. Galatians 6:10.
Lesson 5. Together again.
After many years, returning to Canaan, Jacob became old. Father Jacob was with his wife and 12 sons. Joseph was the second youngest and Jacob's favorite son. Other brothers of Joseph didn't like this and they decided to sell him to slave traders going to Egypt. In Egypt, Joseph remained faithfully to God even when bad things happened to him. Slowly, God helped him to become the governor of Egypt. Once a famine came on all the land, and Jacob sent his 10 sons to Egypt for food. Joseph was in charge of food in Egypt. Joseph's brothers could not understand him, but Joseph knew them all, finally made himself known. He told that he had forgiven them for selling him into slavery. He promised to take care of the entire family, and the brothers were on their way back to Canaan with the good news. It was a grand trip with cars loaded with food, new clothes, and money that Joseph gave them. They had many donkeys loaded with presents for their father. They also had a special invitation from Pharaoh to come and live in Egypt. He promised the families to have wood during the rest of famine time. These all news were unbelievable for Father Jacob. His favorite son Joseph was alive and the governor of Egypt. Finally, Jacob and his big family set out for Egypt. It was a long journey, but they had plenty of food for the trip. Jacob was happy all the way as he was going to see his son Joseph. Joseph was waiting at home and his servants brought the good news that your family is almost here. Immediately he ordered the chariot and he drove fast to meet his father. Joseph ran to Father Jacob and hugged him. They cried together with joy. Then Joseph took his 5 brothers to Pharaoh. They were shepherds, and Pharaoh asked them to take care of his cattle. Father Jacob was taken to Pharaoh, and he blessed the mighty king of Egypt. After that, Jacob lived with the family in Egypt for 17 years, and then he died at the age of 147. Joseph's brothers were worried as their father died. Then they gave message to Joseph to forgive their evil part. Joseph forgave them as God meant it for good and he could help his family.
So remember the message. God help me serve the family. And the memory verse.
Our Father, which art in heaven, we thank this Sabbath morning. We thank this the Lord for all blessings showered upon us. Forgive our sins and shortcomings. Bless all of us, my family, my friends, my teachers, all of us in the world. Due to coronavirus, so many people have that virus. Discharge them from that virus. Our loving Father, please be with us in our studies. We pray these few words in Jesus' precious name. Amen. Amen.